Okay, so let's talk about a couple things you can do to make your mask have a little bit more three-dimension to it instead of just being a flat, just drawing. I mean, the idea here is that we want to make things stick off. One way you can do that is by taking a cardboard tube and cutting off sections of it so that you have a little more dimension with the eyes. You can also, if you're going to add some design details, I like this idea where you can stack up smaller and smaller versions, like a bullseye sort of the design details. You know, that's something you could add on the ears. This girl started to kind of bend her ears. If you're wanting the ears to be more 3D, you can do the same thing. Like if you're doing some type of a fox or something that has ears that would stick up pretty high, the cardboard actually has a lot of give to it, and you can put these little creases in it and make it more 3D if you wanted to do that. That's one way you can make it more 3D. You could also use a shape like this to make a snout. If you wanted your snout to stick off, especially if you're doing like a wolf or a fox or a dragon or something that has a nose that would be farther away. If you're doing a bird, that would be something that you could consider having the beak actually stick out. If you're doing an elephant, you know, the trunk can obviously hang down lower. If you're wanting the nose to be in the front of the snout like I did on this one, my big one, there's a couple ways you can do that. I'm going to show you what it looks like underneath. I actually use something called a tab under there to glue my parts on. A tab is where you just take a scrap of cardboard, you put a bend in it, and then that allows you to have something attached, but the like attachment is not on the outside, it's actually underneath. It's kind of hidden just a little bit. I mentioned this to some classes, but you might consider having the mouth be the open part, where your person wearing the mask would actually look through the mouth instead of the eyes, because it is hard to cut out two matching eye holes and put them close enough together for somebody to see out of. One thing you might want to also consider is, I don't know if I showed every single class this, but if you're wanting to have extra fur, you might consider putting some small pieces of fur on the back, even though you may have cut out a zigzag line on the edge. This will give it a little bit more just dimension. If you want to think about something like that, layering things is a very good idea as well. I'm going to take a piece of cardboard. I've had some kids really struggling to cut out circles. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll draw something way in the middle of a piece of cardboard and cut all the way over to it for an almond shape or a circle shape. If you're wanting to cut out a circle, here's a really easy trick. You can take a strip of cardboard that's just like a rectangle. If you cut off a square of it, like this, you can cut off the corners. And I used to always show my littler kids this. They could do this on paper. It's just a cool trick for getting a nice, good circle. So that's a kind of a cool shape right there. But what I'm going to do now, I cut off all four corners. I'm going to cut off the baby little points. And as I do that, I'm not cutting off very much of this. I still want it to be nice and big, but it's going to give me a nice rounded shape. And it's a lot easier to do this technique than it is to draw a circle and cut it out on cardboard sometimes, I think. So that's a cool trick for cutting out circles. So just to recap what we've seen, a few techniques on how to add dimension. You can use tabs if you want stuff to stick off of it. You just glue that behind it. Remember, when you're gluing stuff on today, don't put the hot glue on your smallest little things. Put the glue on the biggest thing and then stick your whiskers or whatever it is on. I have this hanging on the board in the room. This is called a flange. Flange, all that really means is that you have a cylinder that you want to stick up, or maybe a snout or something that you want to stick off, or a unicorn's horn, but you aren't sure how to glue that cylinder on. You can cut these little tabs in the bottom of the cylinder. All I did is I just took my scissors and I went all the way around, and then I just took the cardboard and bent it out to make these tabs, and then I can put the hot glue there and stick it on, and that'll give me a shape that sticks off of the surface pretty well. Let's see, I think I have one more thing to show you about how to do a mouth if you want the mouth to be open. If you have your cardboard, you can take and cut, let's say if I wanted a mouth on here, I can take my scissors and just, if I can get one hole in this, it is kind of hard to cut right in the center and stay on your line. I know that. Okay, so I'm going to cut this line just along the top edge of this rainbow line. And then instead of cutting that whole shape out, I'm gonna just do what I call a roll down. I'm gonna roll that down, and I'm gonna use part of that as part of the mouth. So it's gonna be like the bottom lip or the tongue. And now, if I wanted to put teeth in here, I could have the teeth be underneath, sort of like that, which is kind of a cool way of doing the mouth, is just bending this down and have it still be part of it. And I could actually even, if I just squeeze this cardboard, I might even be able to kind of roll it under like it's a, you know, cylinder down there, which is kind of cool. I can just put a little glue and hold that down. So this is called the roll down. That's what I call it. So anyway, have fun, and try not to waste cardboard. If you have a piece like this that you're wanting to throw away before you take it to the trash, you might just snip off the weird part. And this is a nice, good rectangle someone could use. And then this could maybe even be, you know, cut down even more to be spikes or something like that. So all of your little scraps can be used. Try to make sure you're using them and not wasting the cardboard. Thank you.